All right, hello and welcome to episode 60 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. Wow. 60, wow. I know. I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez, and to my left or to my right, it's LA's own Jacques. Okay, took the hat off, so I can't even do the LA thing anymore.
Welcome to the show. It works. It still works.
It works.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Randomly, as a LA guy, I do have something nice to say about the Clippers. My friend DJ Dents, he's been the DJ for the Clippers for the last 20 years, and they just gave him a jersey at the game, I think last week. So congratulations to DJ Dents. Really, obviously, he's been killing it at the Clipper games for the past 20 years because something had to keep the audience entertained.
There we go.
So shout out to DJ Dents. Shout out to DJ Dents.
You couldn't help it. You couldn't help it, could you?
Just want to give props to Dents. But yeah, man, it's a good show as always. A lot of stuff happened over this weekend that I'm anxious to get into and anxious to talk about.
Yes,
and then also kind of we didn't put it on the show notes. Wait, let me look at my notes. It's not on the show notes, but we should talk about the Anthony Edwards commercial with Katt Williams.
Oh, yes. That's definitely we should put that. We'll put that there somewhere towards later on in the show. But Yeah, no, I just wanted to tell a story. I mean, since you got a little bit of a story bit in there, I want to tell a little bit of a story too. I don't know if you noticed. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I do collect trading cards from here and there. It was definitely a big hobby for me when I was younger. I was super into the basketball era of the 90s, Upper Deck, Tops, Fleer, Skybox, and all that stuff. And through the years, I've kind of been on and off with that. There'll be times where I'm like, oh, I'm really back into collecting. And then there'll be times where I'm like, that's a giant waste of money. What am I doing with my life? That kind of deal, right?
Yes.
So this year, Tops, through Fanatics, I guess Fanatics now owns Tops, they have reacquired the NBA license from Panini. So now they are now the exclusive makers of NBA trading cards once more. And, that's been a whole big deal in the hobby because Panini had it for so long. And there were a lot of complaints about how Panini operates and all that stuff. And to be fair, a lot of these trading card companies, there's, we can all have our fair criticisms of them and all that stuff. But I was kind of out of the loop for the most part during the Panini era. I dip in every once in a while. If I see something at a Target, a small box, I'll grab something and then, hey, go check it out and all that stuff. Right. But
right.
With Tops, it's nostalgia fuel because back in the 90s, you would buy these trading cards and you would get rookie cards of Kobe, Allen Iverson and all that stuff. So that was my era. So with Tops back in the game, I was I might get interested in getting back into collecting basketball cards every once in a while. And because it's also a huge year because Cooper Flagg is coming in. And as you might expect, there's a lot of hype behind him. People are, tagging him as the next big, great American player, which is a huge deal, obviously. I mean, a couple of years ago, it was Victor Wembanyama was a huge deal. And I did kind of catch that. But unfortunately, Tops did not have the exclusive license at the time. So, but they did have the rights to make Victor Wembanyama autograph cards. So, stuff that Vic, would sign. He would have Panini cards, but they would not be signed. With Tops, they would there was this weird balance of wait, do I want a signed Vic card, but it's not licensed? So you don't see the Spurs jersey. So it's this Photoshopped, number one, but nothing Spurs on there. So that kind of creates is it really a real NBA trading card and all that stuff? So, but now that Tops has the license, they now can do Wembanyama signed trading cards with the Spurs logo on it. And they also have, I believe, the exclusive on Cooper Flagg. So you will see Cooper Flagg autograph cards in Tops. So, which brings me to this story. This weekend, I went to, do you remember the Los Angeles Arboretum? That was in Arcadia. It's a nice park garden.
Oh, yeah. Super nice over there.
Yeah, it's really nice. There was a Halloween hike during that time. So, with the family, we went there on Saturday. So, kind of just nice tour of the Arboretum because I hadn't been there over a decade. And it's really nice over there. Got a Japanese garden. And, it's just a really nice place to be around. But then afterwards, we went to Santa Anita, the mall there next door, which is also adjacent to Santa Anita, the horse racing track and everything. But, grabbed dinner there, just had a nice family dinner and all that stuff. Now, the local GameStop, I don't know if you've ever been to a GameStop lately. They're barely about video games anymore. They have Funko Pops, trading cards, Magic the Gathering. this particular GameStop even had like tables where people could play Magic the Gathering on there.
Oh, wow.
And
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. Yeah.
It is such a huge change from the GameStop of, the 2000s when we would go in there, look for like used copies of whatever for, however discount and everything. But yeah, it's just such a huge change. But yes, they sell trading cards now, and they just happen to have the new Topps product on there. And they've got like these, like what I call jumbo packs. So instead of like 10 cards in a pack, there's like 30 cards in a pack. So I bought one, and I'm opening it. I'm like, well, there's nothing on there. Now, then again, I called my brother because he's also like starting to get into trading cards, which is wild because you're getting up there in age. And then that's when you start to get into trading cards. It's like, oh, you would have really burned your money, huh? But
yeah, a little nostalgia.
Yeah. So I told him, hey, they have the new Topps thing there. Do you want me to go buy you one? Yeah, sure. Go buy me one there. So I go back to the GameStop. I buy one pack, and then I was like, oh, whatever. It's only $7. I'll go buy 2 packs for me. So like I bought one for him and then 2 for me. And then, I go back to where we were eating for dinner, and I open up my 2, and I'm just like sorting through. I'm like, look at that, whatever, LeBron, all the stuff, like, stuff you would expect, right? And then I see the words Cooper Flagg, but it's turned behind. Like, you don't see the front. You only just see the word Cooper Flagg. Oh, I got a Cooper Flagg. I turned it around, and I'm like, oh, look at that. A signed Cooper Flagg, like, rookie card.
Oh.
Yeah. So apparently these things are going for like $2-3 grand apparently online right now, selling on eBay for that much.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
So you're going to sell it?
Probably not. It's just, it's one of those, like, I've had situations where I've held onto a card too long. I've also had situations where I sold it at the right time. And, we'll see what happens. I mean, $2 to $3 grand, that's a nice chunk of change, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I need to sell it right away. But, not a bad flip for, what is it, $20 basically for those 3 packs?
Yeah, for $20. Yeah, that's crazy. That's dope.
Of course, this opens up the Pandora's box of like, I need to buy more.
I need to buy more now. What else can I get? Yeah, we're never satisfied.
Never satisfied. They're never happy. But no, I think with this one, I'm going to be done for a while because, like I've, just through the years of collecting and all that stuff, I've kind of gone through the motions of, oh, I got something good. I can stop for a while. Like, I'm satisfied for a little bit. Like, I have a little bit more self-control than I did when I was a teenager, let's say.
Yeah. Hopefully we all do.
Hopefully we all do, especially. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, shout out to Cooper Flagg. Now I'm going to be totally invested in him now as his career goes along.
As you should. I need you need him to win so you can win. We win together, Cooper.
Anyways,
that's cool.
That's dope. Yeah, if that was ended up being like a shameless plug for Topps, to send us stuff too, like we can unbox stuff, that would totally be great.
Yeah. Topps, if you need us, Topps, we're here.
If you need trading card influencers. Yeah. If you need trading card influencers, we can do breaks
right here on the show.
And we won't be one of those people who are just like, oh my God, I got so and so nobody player and it's worth $10,000 We ain't gonna be that. We go keep it real. We are going to keep it real. If it's bad, it's bad because we can't not be honest with ourselves. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah. All right. So moving on with the show, Jacques. Last week was the opening week of the NBA, and we've got new broadcast people or partners up there. We got NBC, we got Amazon, the TNT guys, the Inside the NBA guys are on ESPN. I gotta say, good opening week, all in all. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with, how NBC is, come out of the gate with the Michael Jordan stuff and the presentation. Yeah. But I came away really impressed with Amazon stuff, like the set, the digital court. I mean, just the crew that they have. You got Blake Griffin, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Udonis Haslem, and it seems like a pretty good crew.
Yeah, they have a really solid squad on Prime. Yeah, and it feels like their own voice too. They're not trying to be somebody else. Mm-hmm. Like they're not trying to be super funny. I think Blake is just naturally funny, obviously from his comedy stuff that he does. Yeah. But I think it works really well. The digital court is crazy. Like it's so, and not to compare them, but it's so much better than the NBA on NBA on ESPN now. It's so much better than just like the board of the players. I like that they can get in position, talk through plays, and kind of really show what's going on. It's really interesting. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of it so far. We'll see how it matures. As they kind of everybody starts to learn each other and how they play off of each other, all that I think is going to be really, really important. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the NBC stuff, of course, the Michael Jordan, the insights to excellence. Is it insights to excellence or insights to greatness? I mean, we even covered
insights
it on Hard Pass.
It's great or excellent, one of the two. It's the same when it comes to him.
I mean, it's kind of what everybody thought was going to be what Michael Jordan's contribution was, which is basically an hour, 2 hour long interview with Mike Tirico at the start of the season. They're just going to chop it up and just present it throughout the year. But at the same time, I think that's what we want, though. We want Michael Jordan telling stories.
That's not what I wanted.
You really?
I don't know if that's what I wanted.
You don't want him like telling stories? Oh, interesting. Okay.
I wanted I want him to tell stories, but I also wanted him to be a little more into the everyday stuff.
Okay.
Talking a little bit more about what's going on that day or that week, as opposed to just taping a segment with him that they probably did 2 months ago and breaking it up over the next 10 months of the NBA season. Like that just doesn't, I'm like, I think at some point we're going to be like, all right, we get it. We're over it. I would rather him do something a little more dynamic than just a moment. And then that moment lives forever for the rest of the season, rather.
Sure. I get that too. I understand. I mean, I'm glad we have this disagreement because I enjoyed that story of MJ renting out a house at the Ryder Cup and him having to shoot free throws in front of the owner's grandkids, because how dare you ask Michael Jordan to shoot free throws, which is kind of a wild, like, you're gonna, like, hey man, if you could, that'd be great or something like that. I wouldn't even bother at that point, just because it's like, I don't know, I wouldn't bother to ask Michael Jordan. Maybe a picture. I would ask for a picture if I was like the guy who owned a house, but to ask him to like shoot free throws, that I don't know, just seemed a little bit too, whatever. It'd be like having, somebody else, like someone great, come over and then ask him to do the thing that you're very good at, instead of just having him over as a guest, right? It would be like if I had you over here at the house and, it was like a party and all that stuff. And I told him, hey, everybody, I got Jacques Slade over here. Hey, do the thing, do the tapping on the table and, do the unboxing video for us. I have a box of shoes here. Can you do an unboxing video for us today? I felt like it's a little bit much, but we also but at the end of the day, we got a good story out of it. So
yeah,
I guess it was worth it.
I mean, again, I want the stories as well, but I also want him commenting on the state of the game, like during this, during the season. Like if Steph goes on like a generational run for the first 2 months, I want to hear how Jordan thinks about what he's doing. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be Jordan again telling stories about him and Pippen 3 months down the line, and it has nothing to do with what's actually happening in the NBA at that time. Like, give us the stories are great, but I just think they only have, like, their shelf life, I think, is limited. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to stomach, a year long of Jordan telling old stories when things are definitely different in the NBA. Like, I think that makes it hard. And we kind of mentioned this a little bit on the Hard Pass about getting kids to like kind of root for him or like learn a little bit more about him or be reintroduced or introduced really to him.
Right.
And I think this is a great way that's a great way to do that. But I don't know. Just a thought, just a random thought.
No, I feel it. I understand. I mean, maybe it's not just this interview that you said may have been recorded 2 months ago. Hopefully we'll get more current stuff, because I just can't imagine they're going to have, MJ via satellite or something like that. Like you said, if Steph goes on like an amazing run, or Anthony Edwards or Wembanyama or Cooper Flagg, or anybody goes on an amazing run, they're not going to have just MJ via satellite at that whatever palatial estate he happens to be at the time. And, giving out takes. It's not going to be hot. I doubt MJ will ever give hot takes about this current generation. I just don't feel he's that kind of person, because a big chunk of what he said was like he wants to pay it forward. So he's going to be complimentary about this generation. And if it's going to be critiques,
which he should be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if it's going to be critiques, it's going to be light. Like, I don't think he's going to go full Stephen A or full Perk or anything like that. I
No,
sincerely doubt.
no.
I sincerely
I
doubt
would
we will
hope
ever.
not.
Yeah, exactly. And we will also hope that MJ would not go down that path, which leads us to ESPN's version of Inside the NBA. And
Yeah.
man, it's basically Inside the NBA on TNT. It's just with different sponsors. Like
Yeah.
the first bit when they
Just
had
different.
Popeyes on there, it was like, that was
Yeah.
pretty funny. The whole Popeyes bit was pretty
Hilarious.
funny. But yeah, it's like nothing changed except for the network. And props to ESPN for not really touching what has made Inside the NBA successful. Now, I know earlier this year I talked about how I'm kind of tired of the formula of Inside the NBA a little bit just because of mostly Shaq and Kenny. But to see them on the new network and to not see any major changes, like that made me feel good. That made me feel like ESPN is confident enough in TNT to produce the show that has made them popular all throughout the years, and they're not going to really tinker with it. At the same time, as we get further, like you said, like, with the MJ thing, as we get further along the season, we might get tired of the stories. I feel like as the season goes along, I might get tired of Shaq. I feel like I was already starting to have those little bit of moments of Shaq being weirdly a little bit petty and all that stuff towards Kenny and Chuck at times. And I was like, oh, this is why I was starting to get tired of this. Like, I feel like, for the first night, I could tolerate it. The second night too, same thing. But maybe as we progress further along in the season, I'm just going to keep hoping that, we get less of Shaq. I don't know. Like, no disrespect to the big fella, one of the greatest of all time. Person who was very cool to hang around with, apparently. Maybe not be your teammate, especially if you're a rookie, if you heard the stories. But but as a media personality, I feel like there's better uses of him. I don't want him to not be on TV, but as somebody around Kenny and Chuck and Ernie, I feel like it's just kind of gotten long in the tooth. And yeah, I could see there has to be better uses for Shaq is just kind of what I'm getting at there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the full Inside the NBA thing on ESPN. I just like kind of was like glancing through channels when it was on. So I didn't get a chance to experience the whole thing. I just saw I happened to tune in at the bit when Charles was talking about not working like Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, like that whole segment, which was very funny to me. So I have to catch a full like night of it and then come back and give my critiques of it. I didn't see the whole thing, so I can't give a valid like response to that. I just saw that brief part with Chuck, and then them announcing that it was sponsored by Popeyes, which it was just very very funny. Like we don't have that yet on the other channels. That sort of banter between the host. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to come with time, and I think that's something we would love to get there. I would love to see things get there, just because it adds so much, I think, complexity to the show and makes it funnier. Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like there's potential with the Amazon people. Blake, like you said, is naturally funny. I feel like Dirk also has these like hidden comedy chops there, and Steve Nash is always game for just about anything. So I think there's a lot of potential there, and UD can be like the straight man, the one who's not for the BS. So I feel like there's definitely potential there. And Taylor Rooks is obviously like a great host regardless anyway. So I feel like there's good.
She's gonna cook regardless.
Oh yeah, she's gonna cook. So I feel like that's good. There's a lot of potential there. But yes, it does take time for everybody to gel and kind of get a feel for everybody's comedic tendencies, shall we say. But I do want them to kind of stick to the actual the strategy part. Like I feel like they really did a good job of presenting, like, they did the whole thing with the Lakers pick and roll. Like I don't want them to lose that. Like they can have the comedies and bits and spurts, but I don't want it to be like, I don't want them to just copy what the inside guys do. Like I don't want there to be, like, I don't want them to just run on the court like, what Kenny and Chuck and Shaq do, right? Like I don't need them running to the court like they do to run to the board. So I don't need that kind of stuff. Like I want them to have their own separate thing. And and it's just good. We have this competition now. And the less that we talk about the actual ESPN of it all is probably for the better. Less Stephen A. hot takes, less Kendrick Perkins hot takes.
I feel we don't like need any of that.
We really don't. Like, I feel like I think the thing that this opening week really taught us is that if you just focus on basketball and not the culture. I mean, okay, the culture is fine, but just the widespread hot take culture nature of it, we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
I think, like, you know, we can get good stuff and not be, you know, drowning in negativity and BS. Although there was a lot of negativity that came out also this week in the opening week of the NBA because gambling scandal. We did mention it on the intro to Hard Pass because it literally broke as we were recording. And yeah, man, that is some crazy stuff. Unfortunately, we're not sponsored by DraftKings or what were the other ones, so we can't really. No, I'm just kidding. we can talk about this. We can talk about this.
We can definitely talk about it.
We can talk about this. So, the FBI federale, Kash Patel, and his like dead-eyed looking face and all that stuff. Yeah, he had. But
wow, no, I mean, it's not. You're not lying.
You're not lying, yeah, man. Like that picture he has on the official FBI page. You're like, dude, what are we doing? We could have picked a better picture. Basically, it's kind of what I'm getting at. But yeah, no, the FBI announced a gambling scandal in the NBA, which is basically there's two separate gambling scandals. We have this illegal ring of poker games that is apparently being run by the mafia, allegedly, quote unquote. So a lot of this stuff, we're gonna put all of this stuff under the umbrella of allegedly, just a blanket allegedly. So nothing you take here is we're not gonna so we don't be held liable for nothing. Anyways, so illegal poker games that include Chauncey Billups. So I guess he is somebody who they have used as kind of a sports celebrity / person to invite people into these poker games as a way to like get them in the door. And apparently there's also been like usage of cameras, x-rays machines, and all sorts of stuff that can, you know, cheat these poker games. So that's on the one side. And on the other side, we've got actual stuff that is related to the NBA, which is assistant coach / random person that had maybe association with LeBron or the Lakers or whatever, Damon Jones, feeding injury reports information ahead of the actual official reports being released to people who might want to, you know, bet on the games. And then this is on top of the Terry Rozier stuff, which already occurred like earlier this year, where he was relaying information or, you know, taking himself out of games in order for bettors to bet the under on these, you know, these prop bets, which is basically prop bets are, you know, stuff that you can do during the game, whether it's like, you know, they said like a number, whether it's points, you go over and under, rebounds, assists, all the stats and all that stuff. It's not just as simple as, oh, I bet on the Lakers to win tonight, or I bet on, you know, the Spurs to win tonight. It's a little bit more than that. So yeah, huge gambling scandal craziness going on with the league, man. But I feel like with the poker stuff, the illegal poker games, I just don't like, what does it have to do with the NBA? I don't know. I just really don't have like the energy or like the capacity to care about that stuff in regards to like, oh, how does this affect like the image of the league? I'm like, hey man, whatever they do outside of it is kind of not really, you know, out of our.
Yeah, it's not a picture of the league. The league isn't impacted by that. I mean, I guess it is in a sense, but you know, these are players acting on their own accord kind of thing. Yeah. So you can't, you know, they can't control their lives off the court as well. They can only control what they do on the court while they're with the team. Yeah. And these guys have so much money, you know, they're looking for that adrenaline hit. And so spending this money and gambling is kind of a way to do that. So, yeah, I mean, that's my thought. That's how I think about it.
Exactly. Now the Damon Jones and Terry Rozier stuff, you know, that's a little bit more of a sketchy part because, you know, it's affecting performance. Well, the Damon Jones stuff is not necessarily affecting performance. It's messing with the whole gambling stuff because they're just saying, oh, LeBron's not playing. The Terry Rozier stuff is wild because he's actually affecting games. You know, he's like taking himself out, or, you know, the Jonte Porter stuff, like earlier before, like Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, he was actually like taking himself out of games, like, you know, saying he had like eye injuries or something in order to affect like betting lines. So that's a little bit more sketchy. Now, do I think this kind of goes, you know, is there going to be like bigger names that come down on this? I don't know. But at the same time, like, I feel like with the way that gambling has proliferated into mainstream, I feel like this was inevitably going to happen. Like, I feel like we're going to get this in we got this right now in basketball. It's going to happen in football. And, you know, we also had like the Shohei Ohtani stuff, like, was it last year? Regards to like his translator. So like all of these gambling scandals are just going to keep popping up as gambling just becomes easier. It's like there's more access to it. You know, before you had to go to Vegas, you had to go to a casino, and your state had to be legalized sports betting. Like, you had to go out of your way to go make a bet. Now that it's on your phone, now that it's so much easy to just, tap, tap, tap and like, make a bet or whatever, it's going to open it up to these possibilities. And for players who are not, the Steph level, the LeBron level, who are, making good money. Obviously, if you're in the NBA, you're in the NFL, you're making, good money, but you could always use a little bit more. And if you can find a way to affect that, I mean, and the temptation is huge and the payoff is huge and the risk is allegedly minimal, but,
here's the thing.
You're gonna think a couple things.
These people aren't smart. These people aren't smart. Or they aren't wise. Let me say, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say like they're not smart. They're not wise.
Sure.
Like,
okay.
If you're doing this, like, basically I was reading articles and like the way these guys got caught is basically math. Because it's very unlikely that you're going to all of a sudden make a $20,000 or whatever $1,000 bet on one player for this one time and never do it again.
Right.
Like, you got to spread that out, bro. Like, they've got to be a little more strategic. Not that allegedly. I'm not telling people how to break the law, but like the math is going to catch up to you if you do like crazy bets on these like these things one-offs. That are it's very one-offs. Like people are going to know like, oh, okay, yeah. Obviously something's going on. There's no way. It's very, it's very, very rare for you to be like, all right, you know what? Juan's going to get a Cooper Flagg, going to show a Cooper Flagg card this week. What? How do you, what? Like, you got to bet that, Jacques going to bring his Rubik's Cube on this episode too. Like, you got to have like some detailed overtime information. Like, and I think that's how they're getting caught. It's all in the math, being like, exactly. This doesn't look right. This can't be right. But, live and you learn, I guess. I mean, we'll see.
I mean, they're looking at these anomalies.
Be a lot.
They're looking at these. That's how they got caught, is because they see these like random like moments where, wait a minute, are we really betting on the under on like, betting, like you said, like $20,000 on like a Terry Rozier under on a random March game or something like that? That doesn't make sense. If you're going to do this, again, we are not experts. We are not people who, partake in any of this stuff. But if you're spreading it out, there's less likelihood you're going to get caught, if you're going to like blow the whole load on the whole thing on one bet, and it's going to be like, if it was like LeBron or if it was like a superstar player, right? If it was Wembanyama, maybe it would be less likely. But of course, they're superstars. They make so much money. They're not going to risk their career, everything that they've worked for on something as silly as this. So that's why it's these, lesser tier players who are on the bench or, maybe are sixth mans or, something who can affect the outcome of a game, but are not like the most critical high level players.
Right.
Those are the ones who are going to look at this as like,
too. Yeah.
I know.
Just bad decision making. Like, you guys, there's better ways to do things, but hindsight is 20/20, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the inside guys also talked about this too, where I think it was Shaq who was saying this is an addiction, but with Barkley, he was saying this is stupidity. And I kind of fall in the line of with Chuck, because this is pretty stupid to risk your career and everything that you worked for like, a small payday in comparison to what you've made.
A small payday too.
What you've made legally,
like,
because there are gambling addicts. There are definitely, Yeah, I mean, there are gambling addicts out there. Like, and there are pro athletes out there who are gambling addicts. Let's not say that there isn't. But in these cases, what we've seen so far that have been out in the public, this just seems stupid.
Yeah.
But do you think, though, this is
everybody is dumb. It's not just you.
But do you think, like, as this whole thing breaks, do you think this is actually going to affect how people look in general, just the public looks at basketball? Because I feel like, like I said, because of the proliferation of the gambling and the fact that a lot of people, whether it's just terminally online freaks or just people that we know, they just say, well, the basketball's rigged anyway. They always favor the Lakers. They always favor LeBron. They always favor the superstars. Like, there's always been like this built-in assumption that the league is rigged anyways. So I don't know if this is really going to if this is really going to mess with the NBA in the way that they are, or that the media or ESPN is thinking. Like, obviously the NBA doesn't want this to happen. They don't want like this kind of black cloud hanging over them. But I think people already have preconceived, like, they already have assumptions that all sports is rigged to the stars. Like in football, you think, oh, Tom Brady didn't get, the league helped Tom Brady win 7 Super Bowls, So there's always been like assumptions when it comes to these big sports that it's rigged. So I don't really know if this is really going to affect the perception of the league. Now, if a superstar gets caught, then that could be a big problem. But if it's just this level tier of players and names, I don't see it really bothering, like really affecting the NBA in any major way.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is just going to be just a little blip on the radar. All the media outlets, they're obviously like sensationalizing it right now because it's the hot thing to do. And, it's, outside of, the champion Los Angeles Dodgers, the NBA season is just getting started. So who really cares right now?
Yeah.
You know what exactly. I mean? Nobody's like, oh God, the NBA just started. Let's go crazy. Everybody's like, all right, let's let things get warmed up. Everybody get used to each other. So I don't think anybody's paying as much attention as they would. And this story is something that they can help blow up and get some clicks. So I think it'll blow over pretty quickly. We'll get an update whenever the trial starts or whenever they find more information. So I don't think this is I don't think it's be a sustainable impact on the consumer sentiment on the NBA, I'll say.
Right. Because like I said, they already have their assumptions about how everything works anyway. And you weren't going to change it regardless. Like, this is either confirming what you already thought, or you're like, oh, there's no big deal. Like, I don't think you're flipping really a lot of people in light of the scandal. Besides, we should be talking about more important things, like Austin Reeves scoring 51 points last night.
Woo-hoo! Cooking!
Heck yeah, man! I was like our late.
Luka wasn't playing. LeBron was in there. Of it.
Yeah,
I caught the fourth quarter. I was like, all right, okay, all right, AR, I see you.
I feel like we're reaching the point where we're like the first article that says is AR the real number 2 on the Lakers now is going to be a thing. Like, I feel like we are every great performance that Austin Reeves starts the season with. I think he started like 20 something in the first, like basically was already averaging in the 20s for the first 2 games, and then he scores for 51 here. I feel like we are inching closer to the Austin Reeves really the number 2 and LeBron's the number 3 here. Like, I feel like we're inching closer to those kinds of hot takes and all that stuff. To which I would say, hey, whatever.
He keeps playing Lakers like are winning. He's playing.
Yeah. Hey, man. Go do what you do, man. Go do what you do, AR. Appreciate you.
I don't care who you are on the Lakers. I just need you to score the points. I don't care who you are. Just score.
I feel like with these, with every passing day that Austin Reeves is performing with this, we're like, yeah, man, we can't trade him anymore, can we? We can't do the whole yearly, let's trade Austin Reeves for a superstar player. I feel like we kind of have somebody who can be a good complementary piece to Luka right here, right now. What are we doing? So, yeah, I feel like we're in a good spot at the moment. So hopefully when Luka and LeBron get better health-wise, we can go on like an actual run at this point. So, yeah, it's going to come down to health at the end of the day. I mean, just that is with every team, but more so with the Lakers just because of LeBron's age and Luka not always being like the most durable superstar. Is going to come down to how often we're going to see them on the court. But yeah.
Hopefully we see
not much to talk about it than that. But yeah, no. But shout out to AR, 51 points. Woo, that's bad. That's bad stuff, man.
It was so good to watch. He was on fire.
Exactly. It was like it was like you were playing on 2K on easy mode, like on rookie mode, like the way he was scoring out there. Like, he took a couple threes that you're like, oh, so that's definitely a heat check kind of 3. That was definitely you're like, oh, you're really feeling it at that point.
And to be fair, they could have they almost lost. They had a little lead at the end of the fourth, and then they let them come back to within 3, I think it was, before they kind of got things back together. So it could have been all for naught.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what happens when your 2 top players are not playing. You have to rely too much on AR to score 51. He's not going to do that every night. So unless he does, which would be great. But anyways,
you never know. Let's see. They play Portland.
Yeah.
I think they play Portland this week, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, let's move on to a couple quick hitters here, Jacques. You were at ComplexCon, to which I would say,
yes.
ComplexCon was this weekend. So anyways, ComplexCon was in Vegas. And if you could give me a brief summary of everything that happened there, all the celebrities you met, all the people who took selfies with you and all that good stuff. I mean, I would greatly appreciate it for the audience. Yeah, I mean,
lots of fun as always. It's great to see all of the build outs, just kind of see the creativity that's kind of festering within the sneaker and apparel communities that's there. So you see that those things are starting to manifest more, and everybody's doing their individualized booths. So all that part of it all is really cool to see. The people are really great to see. A lot of the people that are in the sneaker community show up at ComplexCon just because it has such a huge sneaker bias. So everybody from Bima to AD to Skate the Great, Jay Cheyenne, the Sneaky League Pod ladies were there. Shu Hefner was there. Who else was there? And then you get to see some of the higher ups at some of the brands. Some of the Brooks brand people were there. Adidas, obviously. Reebok had a nice booth with Pleasures. John Jowers, who's VP at Nike Comms, was there. Got to see Brandon Creswell, VP of marketing for Jordan Brand. He was there. So, Sam Baker, who, he does North America comms or global comms for Jordan Brand. So a lot of a lot of cool people there, and, getting to talk to people, just talk to people in person, which is really great. I got to take a picture with the Clips. So, three rappers met in Vegas at ComplexCon, you know what I'm saying? So that was really dope.
If I could get that picture, I would greatly appreciate it. That'll probably be the thumbnail for the video. I would greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. Three rappers met in Vegas.
Yeah. The third member of Clips.
But the only complaint I have, and I don't know if this is just an I'm old thing, which probably is an I'm old thing, but there was just so much weed. So much weed. So much weed. And look, I'm not opposed to you smoking. I'm not opposed to you smoking. Smoke weed. Honestly, I could care less. If it was cigarettes, I might have something to say, but smoke weed. I get it. But it was everywhere you went. Inside, outside, you just couldn't get away from it. I tweeted about it over the weekend, and even somebody was like, I left the Versus concert with No Limit and Cash Money because there was just so much weed in the air. Really, it was bad. And some people have responded to my message saying that, weed is legal in Vegas, but weed is legal here in LA too. But you don't see it. You don't see it like that. I mean, there was just people literally just blowing smoke into the air inside the convention center. So it's that part of it I could have done without. But again, I don't know if that's just I'm old and I'm noticing it more, or if just is popping like that in Vegas when it comes to weed smoke, because it was everywhere. You couldn't really escape it. But other than that, it was awesome. It was awesome. The facility is bigger. I didn't go to La Vegas last year, but the facility is so much bigger than the Long Beach one. So it's a little more open air, and allows you people like Jordan Brand to literally drive trucks inside during the middle of the show. But it was good. It was cool. They did a good job. They always kind of do a good job. The brands always do a really good job of showing up there and showing out with their activations. It always looks super, super nice. So yeah, it was a good one. I brought Trina. Trina went for the first time, and she was just my wife Trina, for those that don't know. she was a little overwhelmed. She was just like, it's just so much happening. And then she was like, there's so many, like, there's music and lights and people in semi costumes and people in wild outfits and everybody just trying to grab your attention everywhere. So that part of it was unique for her, but I think she enjoyed herself, and she said she would go back again. I was like, would you go back to see? She's like, yeah, I think I would go back. Because, my wife, she's corporate. So she's like, I've been to trade shows before, but I've never been to anything like this. Like this is like trade shows on a million, basically.
Right. Yeah. It's always fun to bring somebody who's not in our world into these kinds of shows. Like to just see what their reaction is. I brought family to shows. I brought exes to shows. And it's always this like reaction of, whoa, this is your life. This is what you do. This is, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is how I used to operate. I mean, this is how I operate. Like, especially during that time at the height of when I was balancing sneakers and video games. Very much whenever I would bring somebody with me to these events, they would always just have this like, whoa, like this is actually how like stuff operates. And it's like, yeah, no, I mean, it, like for me, like me being like jaded and everything, I'm like, yeah, it's just a typical whatever. I just do this stuff. But for them, it's like, oh my God, this is so amazing, blah, 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 blah. So, but it's nice to hear that ComplexCon seems to be in a good space because I don't know, when I went there to the Long Beach one, was it like 23 or 22? I don't know. I just didn't get the same vibe from it. I feel like there was a bit of a down year, like one of those years when I went to like ComplexCon in Long Beach. Now, it's nice to hear that in Vegas, like with the open space, you can do a lot more stuff. And, the brands can definitely like get more creative with their activations and their, their booths and all that stuff. But yeah, we talked about the weed thing before. We went live and I just thought it was pretty hilarious. It was like, man. Yeah, no, that sounds like Vegas because I don't know. Like I've had this impression of Vegas for the last couple of times that I've been there. I'm like, yeah, no, it smells like weed on the streets. It smells like there's just out on like, the strip and everything. I'm like, oh man, it just smells like no one cares around here, which, whatever is legal, right? But at the same time, it might be a little bit overwhelming for somebody who doesn't partake. I guess it's kind of what we're getting at, So I would imagine, if you're at the Versus concert and it was just like all over the place and you're not, someone who does it all the time, I would imagine it'd be like, yeah, man, I'm going to have to step out.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like, I feel like they got to treat weed smoke like they treat cigarette smoke, like in Vegas now. In Vegas now, you can't really smoke inside.
Yeah.
I think they've got to treat it. I think they have to treat it like that because otherwise it's just going to be just as annoying as cigarette smoke was.
Right. Well, that's nice to hear. I mean, I'm glad you had a good time at ComplexCon. Seems like, it seems like it's in a good spot, like I said, and hopefully maybe next year I might make the trip because like I said, like the last time I went just wasn't really feeling it. Maybe that was just more me more than anything else, but it feels like with like a renewed energy, like a different space, with Vegas and all that stuff. I'll go. And yeah, I might have a higher tolerance of the weed compared to you, but at the same time, I could also see a limit where I'm like, yeah, this might be a little bit much. I think I'm gonna have to like excuse myself, basically.
And again, I want to be absolutely clear. I am not saying don't smoke. I'm not saying you can't smoke. I'm not saying I'm against you smoking, any of those things. All I'm saying is the weed smoke portion of it. That portion has to go. Because it's impacting everyone. It's not just you. And I don't know if people see it that way when they're blowing weed, like literally blowing weed smoke into the air or blowing weed smoke in front of them into, the crowd of people that are walking through ComplexCon. So I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying maybe just be a little more aware of the people around you that they may not enjoy the weed smoke that you're blowing out of your mouth as much as you think they do just because you enjoy it. Yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to put it.
So the official Too Hard to Pass platform on weed is you can do it. Just be responsible about it.
Yeah, you can do it. I just don't want to smell it.
Yeah.
That's the hard, too hard. That's our theme. You can do it.
Don't do it around me.
I just don't want to smell it.
Yeah, you can do what you want, just don't do it around me. Basically, the official
bring a
platform.
personal fan to blow it to somewhere else or some air freshener.
Hey man, like we got like these like fans on your neck nowadays. Like there was like this Costco thing where you had like these the neck fan to keep you cool. Maybe you should have those for like the weed too. Like as soon as you blow, it's like just kind of goes over the place. Well, anyways, before we get onto the Rushmore of it all, Jacques, you did talk about this earlier. You wanted to talk about the Anthony Edwards commercial featuring one Katt Williams. I gotta say, when I first saw that, I was dying. I was like, oh shoot, they got the perfect guy. And especially in this moment when Katt Williams, like, his name, every time he breaks out with a take, he makes headlines and everything. So, yeah, no, I mean, what did you think about Katt Williams being on this Adidas AE2 commercial, especially in light of who they're talking about in that commercial?
I agree. They made a great selection for him to use him. I would like to see them continue the series with him. I hope this isn't just a one-off because I feel like that would be a waste of his talents. He could be the new Lil Penny for Anthony Edwards or the Spike Lee for Michael Jordan. He could be the mascot, essentially, that says the things that the player can't necessarily say. So I'm fully invested in them using Katt Williams. Now, I will say I think that the way that the media typed headlines about this was that he was dissing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or throwing shade at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like all of this negative perspective on the tone of the commercial. When I think he didn't really say anything negative about Shai. He didn't like the shoes, obviously. It was mentioned about Converse was that they're old. But I think that's something everybody knows. So it wasn't like that huge of a diss. But to make it seem like he was specifically dissing SGA, I think was a bit disingenuous of all of us to lead it that way. Even with the video that I made about it, I led it that way. And I didn't really come to this conclusion until after I had watched the video after I had posted my video and watched it a couple more times. But I think it's fun. I think it's right in line with what we expect from the Anthony Edwards campaign. And I would love to see them keep Katt Williams on the roster as their, what's the best word? Not
hype man.
Hype man. There you go. Hype man. Perfect. Yeah. He could very well be the Spike to Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, that could be great. That could be a good one. Like if they keep Katt on board for that kind of stuff. And yeah, no, the more I did watch the piece, the commercial, like I think I'm a little bit more of like, it's not so much of a diss as much as it is just continuing the energy that they've started with the AE1 commercials when, they opened the bag and they were throwing out Lukas and Jacques and all that stuff. So I feel like it's just a continuation of that particular energy, which is not necessarily Kendrick Lamar burning the House of Drake down to the ground kind of energy.
Right.
It's more like I'm throwing teepees at your trees. It's like I'm just being here just to be a jokester. So yeah, but I also understood why the media went that way right away because, it's the easiest thing to get clicks. Like it's the easiest way to get attention is to say, oh yeah, man, Adidas is coming at Converse or Katt Williams and Anthony Edwards are coming in SGA. So I understand why the media does it that way because it's easy engagement, easy enragement bait. But if you look at the nuance of it, it's more of a haha jokey kind of thing. And I bet you when AE and SGA meet up, there's going to be like, just pushing around, just like joking at each other and not like really taking it seriously or anything like that. Like, I feel like it's going to be more of a, yeah, man, you did that. Oh, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. That kind of thing instead of, oh, it's on site. Like, I don't think it's going to be that kind of energy with those two. And if they're going to play it that way, we should play it that way. Like, we should just be, just keeping it in that fun zone, just, making it just, no, it's jokes. I feel like at the end of the day, like it's jokes, but I said that you're right. Katt could be like definitely this generation's Lil Penny and Spike, for Anthony Edwards. And if they keep it going that way, I wouldn't be mad at it because Katt,
not at all.
He's been on fire lately. So definitely like, catch that lightning while it's, catch that lightning in the bottle, whatever you want to call it.
Catch it while it's hot. Yeah, I think SGA had a great response to it, though. They asked him about it at a game.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, they asked him about it after one of the games, and he was like, basically, when you're hot, they're gonna talk about you. So
exactly,
he's trying to get clicks off of my name because he knows I'm hot. And I was like, all right, I like that. I respect that.
Absolutely,
We should
absolutely.
post it. I should post that clip and then put the what is it? Mims, this is why I'm hot behind it with the music behind me. This is why I'm hot. Yeah, that's funny.
All right, so definitely, hopefully we'll see more of that in the future. But just keep that energy. Like I feel like that's what got like people paying attention to Anthony Edwards and his signature shoes. On top of the fact that the
Yep.
shoes are good, so
Yep.
just maintain that energy throughout, and don't let up. Really, that would be my only thing. Is Adidas doesn't let any criticism or any kind of energy come out of this and be like, oh, we should stop doing this. Like we need to maintain this. Like keep up this jokey kind of trickstery kind of energy.
Yeah.
Moving forward with Anthony Edwards. All right, so that was it for episode 60, Jacques. But before we go, it's time for everybody's segment of the show. And on the internet, it's Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus time.
Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus.
I want to thank everybody who responded, commented on the last week's Rushmore, even though I was, I guess the appropriate word was murdered on the poll and in the comments for my picks for the Bread Jordan ones. Because, oh boy, I did not expect it to be that much of a bloodbath. I mean, damn.
Yeah, I didn't know it was gonna go there, but yeah, it was interesting.
I was like, I think once you got 4, or like, recap it is like I picked a 1 for the first pick and then you went 4 at 11. I feel like that was maybe the beginning of the end for me, is because I think the power of the 1 is great, but if you combine the powers of the Jordan 4 and the Jordan 11, kind of untouchable afterwards. Like, I don't think you can really, so I feel like that was definitely a situation where the person who had the second pick and got to pick, roll off 2 in a row was probably going to take it home at that point. Like if I had picked the 11s and then you had gone with the 1 and the 4, I feel like it probably would have gone the same way. Maybe it would have been a little bit closer because people like the 11s, but whoever gets a combination of any of those 3 probably was going to end up with the win at that point. But man, people were brutal about our last picks though. Like when we went like post, like, man, y'all were mean about that. Like, a lot more people love the 31s compared to my 28s, but damn, man, there was just a lot of, so someone said like this should have been just a 4-round thing. I'm like, man, that was kind of mean. Like the whole point of Rushmore Plus is we go to 5.
Yeah, we push it. But I mean, I get it. They also though acknowledge that after like those 5th round picks are pretty hard.
Yeah,
to find something that fits into that mold. And then they, Matt Halfhill was on us about not including the Air Jordan 3.
Yes.
And which no excuses. However, I don't really think about the black cement 3s as bread.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
I don't think of them in that way, even though, to be fair, the bread Jordan 4 has very little red in it also. So it's not, so he's not wrong. And the 3 probably should have been included. That probably would have made a better 5th round pick. But I still like my choice.
Probably would have made a more interesting draft at the end of the day if the 3s were included on there. If we had like, I don't know, like the same thing. I feel like I had a similar situation where I don't consider black cement 3s breads. I had a similar thought too. That's why I didn't, decide to pick that either. But also shout out to Matt because he said that he blames Kicks on Fire for popularizing the bread term, and I just had to get in there and be like, hey man, I mean, you're probably not wrong. It's probably not, I'm not going to dispute that. It was not my call editorially at the time, but you're probably not wrong about that.
We all make mistakes, Juan.
We all make mistakes. Mistakes were made. But, Jordan has co-opted the bread. So, it's definitely, they have accepted it as their term too. So it's like, watch, this is going to be a situation where it's like, when your parents got on Facebook for the first time, you're like, oh, Facebook's not cool anymore. Eventually, Jordan is going to run the bread term to the ground and people are just going to have to come up with something new. So it's in the book. Shout out also, I wrote a piece on Soul Retriever about the Air Jordan book and how they have really accepted the term bread because they didn't used to before. And of course, you provided the book, so thank you for that. So I read a lot of bits and pieces of the book, and I was like, oh, bread, they really are like just really into the bread now. They used to hate it, they used to not really acknowledge it, and now they're just using it all willy-nilly on that book, and it's just okay.
Even I didn't like it, and I didn't use it for a long time, but
you
just I just
kind of have to go with it.
Just sometimes you get beat up, and you just gotta be like, all right, I got my ass kicked on this one. Get up and keep fighting.
Yeah, take the L on the. I guess we have to take the us old heads have to take the L on this one, and accept it for what it is, because eventually it's going to come back around and people are going to hate the term. But anyways, today, in honor of, we didn't even talk about this on the show, but a new Air Jordan 40 has been revealed that is paying homage to the Air Jordan 16, almost literally. It looks basically like the Air Jordan 16. It's almost eerily similar, to the point where I'm like, wait, is that the 16 or wow? Anyways, but it got me thinking about Wizards era Michael Jordan. So in honor of that, the Air Jordan 40, we are going to do for this week's Rushmore Wizards era Air Jordans. I went first last week, much to my bad luck apparently. So you have the floor this week first, Jacques.
So this is an interesting one because there's two models that pop into my mind. So I think because of a little bit of recency bias, I'm going to go with the Air Jordan 17.
17.
I mean, there's obviously a little bit of recency bias there because the Infinite Archive 17 just came out, so I think that kind of gives me a bit of a bias. But yeah, gotta rock with that one.
Yeah, cool. I mean, and he only did wear, I believe, oh no, he did wear more, but yes, no, that's a good one. So you're going with the white and blue pair of
white
the 17s?
Blue pair,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I'm going to go with, in light of the 40 being revealed as the 16, I'm going to go with the 16. I'm going to go with that one, the white and blue pair. I always wanted those, but those were out of my price range when I was growing up. So I was like, wait, I think they were like 200 or almost 200 during that time. And my broke ass in high school was like, can't afford that. And then when they did retro, was it in 2016? I just missed out on it. And resale's like, nah, I'm not gonna bite on resale for 16s. Come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with that for my first round pick, the Air Jordan 16, the white and blue pair. For second round, which is the retro, feel like I gotta go with the Jordan 11 Cool Gray. Feel like that's the easiest,
good one.
Probably the easiest pick out of the bunch. He did wear several retros during that time. But the one that stands out the most is obviously the Cool Gray, and it's gone on to be. It's not an OG colorway, but the way that people talk about it, it's basically an OG colorway. Like it's been that beloved that people just kind of shoehorn it in as like part of the original, run of Air Jordan 11.
It feels like it's part of that original batch, even though obviously came out how many years later, 20 years later, or whatever it is, 10 years later, something like that.
Yeah. So okay, so that is my pick, my first two picks, and so
okay,
your first pick will be the retro.
My retro. Okay, so my retro for my number 2 pick for my retro is the nines, the Cool Gray 9s. Kind of got to go with those. So they fit the whole Cool Gray vibe very easily. So that kind of follows your Cool Gray 11s there. Mm-hmm. And then for my non-retro round 3, I think I have to go with the 18s, even though I've never owned a pair. Never in my life owned a pair. Not a Jordan shoe that I was into at all.
Yeah.
But in this space, got to go with the 18. Just, again, not something that I ever really was into or that I rocked. But I know people that like them, which is, go be with God kind of thing.
Oh, man. Wow. That was, are you going to go with the white and blue pair or the black and blue pair? I feel like because
black and blue.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like because there are, he did wear 3 models, but he didn't wear a lot of colorways on them. We kind of have to differentiate between like which color particular did he wear. So I think, no. So you're gonna go with the white and blue pair? Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, black and blue.
Oh, black and blue. Sorry. Black and blue.
Black and blue pair. Yeah.
Make a note of that. Okay. So for my round 3 non-retro, God, I could go with the white and blue 18, but I think I'm gonna go with the Lightning 17s that he wore in the All-Star game. Famously, he like, of course, the funniest image of that is the moment that everybody remembers the most out of that is that he missed the dunk, that he did in the All-Star game. It was like, you're like, oh man, like it's the sign of the times, because you could imagine back then MJ would grab a steal and get the easy dunk, and it'd be like Jordan 11s or whatever cool shoe, and like the 17's most lasting memory in MJ wearing them is a missed dunk, and you're like, aw. But at the same time, people like 17s and people love the Lightning style, like that Lightning color blocking, white and yellow and black. So
with the hint, that little hint of yellow.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to go with the 17. I think those are lows, but yeah, 17 Lightning lows. Okay. Now, so for the retro, for the 4th round, so I think I'm going to go with the Air Jordan 3 Wizards. It's basically
that's a good one. That's a good
true
one.
blue pair, just instead of red, it's copper. I mean, it used to be a PE. It came out, was it like last year or something like that? It finally came out, and it's a pretty cool pair. It's a nice bit of like Jordan lore that kind of got lost for a while there, but I'm just glad that they're acknowledging that he did play for the Wizards finally. Like Nike and Jordan Brand are acknowledging that, because it feels like for a very long time they didn't want to touch it. They didn't want to really go into that part of Jordan's history, because between the last shot and how MJ finished his career with the Bulls, and the fact that the Wizards, which I personally defend, I will always defend, like MJ playing in the Wizards era. I thought it was pretty cool, but
that you do.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the minority in that, but shout out to those Bullets jerseys. I would love to own though. I would love to own one of those someday. I just feel like for a while there, Nike and Jordan didn't want to acknowledge Wizards era Jordan, and I'm glad that they are now, but in some small way. I don't know if they're fully, like, I doubt we're ever gonna get like Nike making MJ retro Wizards jerseys. I don't know if we'll ever see that, but the shoes, I think we're there already. So cool.
Let's go. Good pick. Yeah. So this is my number 4 pick or number 5?
The retro.
Yeah, number 4. Okay, so then for number 4, I'm gonna go with the Jordan 7 French Blue. Yep. Just a super solid shoe. I'm not a huge fan of the 7s. I have a bunch of them, but I just don't wear them very often. I don't wear them very often. I'm not mad at them. It's just they just don't make it into the rotation. So the Jordan 7 French Blue is good. And then for my final one for round 5, I'm going to be very specific about this. The Air Jordan 16 in the ginger colorway.
Oh,
without the shroud. I think
right.
I like it without the shroud more than I like it with the shroud. So that's my qualifier for my round 5 pick is the Air Jordan 16 ginger without the shroud.
That's a really good pick. I had forgotten he did wear that. And I have done like these recaps. Like I remember doing like Kicks on Fire recaps back in the day of like, oh, Michael Jordan wore this and so and yada yada. And I'm like, that's right. He did wear the 16 ginger. So great pick.
Thanks,
yeah. So if that's the case, I think I'm gonna go with I just have to confirm now that we're doing this. Since you went with that one, that's a great pick. I'm going to go with the Air Jordan 17 Low Carolina Blue.
Okay.
MJ did wear that also. And Michael Jordan in Carolina Blue. Perfect combination of athlete and color. Because Carolina Blue is an amazing color. It signifies like, toughness and greatness, and just, it's a perfect representative of Michael Jordan's just aura. If MJ had aura, it would be Carolina Blue. It wouldn't be Chicago Bulls red. It would be Carolina Blue, because that's what it represents. It's just, I think and we finally got it because, unfortunately he couldn't wear Carolina blue, during his time with the Chicago Bulls because, he was very much, he had to follow the rules. Well, except for that one time. Apparently that one time, the NBA banned him for something. But, ever since then, he'd kind of like, following like whatever the rules were in terms of like, whatever sneaker you could wear. But finally that he was on a team that, had blue as a predominantly, color, he could finally, show his true colors, which is Carolina blue. So, yeah, we are going to go with the Jordan 17 Low Carolina for my last pick because it should have been my number one pick, really. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Jay said it best. Carolina blue kicks, hottest rapper on the block. Like, I get it. People like Carolina blue. To me, it just feels very pastel. To me. It doesn't speak strength. Like military blue? Okay. Yes. Okay. North Carolina blue? Huh. Yeah. But good choice. Again, not that your choice is bad. You made a good choice. We just disagree on the emotion that the color portrays. I think that's the difference. I think it is softer than you do.
Wow.
I do. I feel like it's a softer, more gentle color.
Wow.
But again, that doesn't make it a bad shoe. It doesn't make it a bad shoe. It just feels a little more emotional of a color than military blue, which is a little more fierce. Like,
I feel like
not that it can't be strong. Like, military blue like works out with weights. North Carolina blue does like Pilates. It's kind of how.
Wow.
But Pilates are hard. Pilates are challenging. Yeah. Pilates are challenging. It's not that Pilates isn't easy.
You can do both. I feel like you were you're just making these assumptions that Carolina blue cannot handle these kinds of things, man, because I feel like they can.
I'm not saying they can't handle it. I'm just saying they don't say it. They don't say it. Man. If you're reading a book by its cover, you don't buy in right away.
We are really
I'm just saying.
I am just
that's all I'm saying. I'll leave it at that.
I like that this is the most contentious thing we've ever done on this podcast is to battle over Carolina blue. Well, anyways, that was episode 60 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I want to thank everybody again for watching, listening, and all that good stuff. Again, I am your co-host, Juan Martinez, and Jacques Slade with a shameless plug.
I am Jacques Slade. Thank you guys for watching the show. We appreciate you watching/listening. If you want to reach us personally, like send a personal message to us, use the Too Hard to Pass podcast at gmail.com, Too Hard to Pass podcast at gmail.com, and that's the number 2. If you just want to say something personal to us about the show, make sure you like, share, leave comments, 5 stars, all of that kind of good stuff. And as always, we appreciate you guys. We really mean that. Thank you for watching/listening. I'm Jacques Slade. That's Juan, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
We out. Cooper Flagg.